Hello, welcome back. So in this video, I believe we've touched on this, but I really just want to drive the point home of the power of the present moment because everything is created in the present moment. We are most powerful in the present moment. We are not empowered when we are worried about the past or just constantly focused on the future. Our power is when we are funneling that energy into this present moment, being as present as possible and using us right now in this moment to create the next, because that's all we're ever doing. But if we are constantly worried about the past or bringing the past into the present moment, then we're recreating the past over and over and over again. If we're constantly worried about the future and how it's going to work out or when something is going to happen or how it's going to happen, then we're just bringing more of that energy into the present moment. Okay. That more of that emotional energy into the present moment because we create with our emotions. All right. So just feel into this for a second. All right. This moment right here, right now, right here, the only moment that there ever actually is, the present moment, it can shift everything. Everything can shift in a moment, in a split second. You can completely shift the energetic trajectory of your life, okay? In a moment, in the present moment. But you have to double down. You have to double down on your energy. You have to double down on your emotions. You have to be aware of your emotions. You have to be aware of your beliefs, okay? And then we take action from here, all right? If you can double down on what you want and how you want to feel, even if you cannot figure out how it's going to work out for you, you have no clue how it's going to turn out, and there is literally no evidence of this happening right now, if you can still double down, not in a way of attaching to it, like, I need this to happen, I need this to happen, but in a way of just trusting, like, this is going to happen because one, I want it to. Two, I expect it to. Three, I'm an extension of source energy, and source creates everything. And if I want something in my heart and it's a desire in my heart and a vision in my mind, it's already created. My job is just to align to it. Source already wants it for me. So of course it's going to happen. Okay. And it's safe for me to let go of the who, what, and when of it. Because that all doesn't matter. Because if you're creating something new, which you are, if you're creating from the present moment and you're working with this energy, it's going to be something new. You're not going to be able to predict how it shows up or what form it comes in. So we have to let go of needing to know those things and just trusting that if we can double down on our energy in the present moment, which we'll get into in a second, that it's going to happen. It has to. It has to. Okay. So what does it even mean to double down on your energy? You have to double down on your emotional state of feeling complete and whole, even if sorry, I wanted to read my notes just so I didn't miss anything. And what I wrote, I was having a hard time computing, but you have to double down on your emotional state of feeling complete and whole without it, what we talked about in the main lesson this week, even if you don't get it, right? Even if it doesn't show up. And that's not saying that you don't want it to happen. It's saying that you know it's going to, you expect it will, and you're totally okay if it doesn't work out because you know that something better is going to take its place. Why? Because of what we just talked about. You're an extension of divine energy. You're an extension of source. What you want, source wants for you. It's always doing everything in its power to do things behind the scenes, to pull invisible strings, to help things work out for you. Our issue is that we get attached to the what, the who, the when, the how. But if we can stay if we can stay in the energy of it happening without attaching to those materialistic things of how is it going to show up? Who's it going to come through? When is it going to show up? What's it going to look like? Right? Then we are embodying the energy of it happening. Okay. And this is why the present moment is so important, because if in the present moment you can embody the energy of it happening, you can embody the energy of trust, that it's going to happen. You can embody the energy of releasing the need to know how it's going to happen. You can embody the energy of whatever emotional state you know you're going to feel when it happens. If you can continue to align to that over and over and over and over again, every moment, every moment, every moment, every moment, not saying you have to be perfect because we're not perfect, and not saying you can't have a bad day because we're human and we're going to have a bad day, but overall, 51% of the time, if you can continue to align your energy to that emotional state of trust, AKA having faith, if you can have faith that it's going to work out, and you're embodying the emotions of it working out, it has to happen. You have to know this. It has to happen. But we cannot change our current reality by one, pulling an evidence of what currently is, or by two, worrying about what is going to happen, or that there is no evidence that this can even happen yet. Things can change in an instant. You can meet the person that you're going to spend the rest of your life with the next time you walk out of the house, at the store, in line while you're waiting to check out, at the gas station. You have no idea. You could have someone reach out to you as soon as you get off this call and say, hey, I want to buy that thing that you're selling for however much. Or, hey, I want to sign up for every single course you've ever offered. Or, hey, I want to give you a promotion. You don't know. You don't know. You could go and sit down and make yourself a nutritious meal, digest it, and breathe and feel peace in your body, and your body digests it and absorbs the nutrients better than it ever has, and you no longer are experiencing IBS. You could have a friend reach out that you got into a fight with, and they're reaching out when they're apologizing. And all of this is because so many things is happening behind the scenes, but it all shows up in our reality when we align to the solution of it already being there, right? Already happening. When we have faith that this is going to happen. I'm going to put my blinders on. I'm just like la 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 to everything else in my reality that tells me this is not happening. And I'm going to put my blinders on, and I'm only going to focus on the outcome that I want. I'm only going to focus on the solution that I want, while not needing it to happen, because remember, neediness repels, but by having faith. By having faith that it's going to happen. And if it doesn't happen, something else is going to take its place that's going to rock my world even more, but I just can't see what that is right now. And that's okay. That makes it even more exciting, right? So we have to double down, and it doesn't have to be a huge shift. It doesn't have to be a huge shift. But if we can just continue to practice building our trust muscle over and over and over again, practice building our faith muscle over and over and over again, practice on building our gratitude muscle over and over and over again, practice on building insert emotion here muscle over and over and over again, even if it's a millimeter of a shift. It doesn't have to be a huge shift. Even if it's a millimeter of a shift, small change creates huge results over time. We see this in golf, right? We see this in golf. Like, if there is, like, because they'll hit the ball, like, I don't know what professional golfers hit. We'll just say like 300 yards. Over the course of 300 yards, if they're practicing getting to the hole, they might shift how they swing a millimeter. They might shift how they swing a millimeter. You know how small a millimeter is? But over the course of 300 yards, that millimeter of a shift right here at the tee is going to make a huge difference by the time it gets to that 300-yard mark. But at the tee, it might be like a millimeter. That's it. That's not going to do anything. That's nothing. But as we see the trajectory of a tiny, 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 tiny little shift, the further we separate, the further the shift, right? So if we can just trust that even in the moment, we don't have to go balls to the walls, always be happy all the time, always feel the feels all the time. But if you can just shift into a little more trust, a little more faith, a little more of whatever it is that you want to feel over and over and over again, just practice tweaking your energy just a little bit here and there. We have to trust that this present moment has the power to literally change everything. Okay. But if every time we're feeling fear that it's not going to work out, or something happens in our reality that kind of sets us back and just like, whoa, I thought that things were going towards this. I thought that things were working out. Now this wrench was just thrown in, and we just throw in the towel. We say, I knew it. I knew this was going to happen. Or like all those old feelings come back up if someone else is involved, and like we start throwing, like, what is that called? Like throwing the kitchen sink at them or something. And we're like saying all of the things that we've held in from the past, and we're carrying the past with us. Or if something happens and maybe an unexpected expense comes up and we're working on abundance, and we're like, we let it derail us. What are we doing? We're giving in to that familiar past that the subconscious is used to operating in. So we have to become aware, what we talked about in the video. We have to practice these things and remind ourselves that if I continue to feel the same way about these things, I'm going to continue to get the same experiences. So something within me has to change. And you can utilize so many tools to change them. Some of them you've got this week in your homework, but you can ask, like, am I going to sabotage myself and give up or give in? Or am I going to choose the pattern disrupt? Am I going to choose to double down on faith? Am I going to choose to double down on trust? Am I going to choose to double down on myself, recognizing that although I might be scared right now, like this experience that just kind of like knocked the wind out of me, it triggered some fear of like, what if I'm doing something wrong? Or what if it's not going to work out? Or what if nothing will ever change, or whatever? Yeah, even if that happened, that's okay. Okay? Because I understand that it's just fear that I'm feeling. I'm still safe. I'm still safe. Remember, the subconscious wants to prioritize safety. I'm still safe. Even if this thing just happened and it kind of like threw a wrench in, I'm still safe. I'm just scared. And I can still take action being scared. I can still drive with fear in the passenger seat because I know I have my faith. I know I have my trust. I know I have my other emotions that I want to feel, my gratitude, my love. I know I have these things. So what can I do right now in this present moment to double down on faith, to double down on trust? That might be going to your journal. It might be repeating some new beliefs that you want to believe. It might be just moving your body because it just feels so heavy and you don't really know what exactly it is that you're feeling. You just know you're feeling some type of way. So maybe you need an environment change. So you step outside for a minute. Maybe you just go somewhere and you just scream. You're like, ah, you just let it out. But you do something that helps you get back in alignment with that faith, with that trust, because you know that this present moment has the potential to shift everything. Okay. So it's just something that I wanted to add into this week, because I want you to really be able to feel the power that you have when you are present, when you are connecting with yourself in the present moment. And yes, reality is going to show us things that is going to tell us like, what I'm doing isn't working. What I'm doing doesn't matter, blah, 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 blah. And that's because our current reality is the sum of all of our past actions, experiences, emotions, beliefs brought in. Our current reality is just a snippet of the past. But we've lived that past for our entire lives, right? Oh, remember what we talked about, like over and over and over again. We think the same thoughts, we experience the same things, we do the same things. We're living the same day over and over and over again with slightly different tweaks here and there. Until now, we're choosing to do something different. And we have to understand that it's just in the present moment. This is where all of our power is. So can we double down on that faith? Can we double down on that trust? Can we double down on knowing that I'm just going to keep feeling these emotions. One, because it feels good to feel these emotions. And two, because I know that the universe, divine, source, God speaks energy. And my emotions are communicating energetically. And they have to meet me where I'm at. It's already meeting me where I'm at. I'm just not where I want to be, but it's still meeting me there. And it's showing me that it's meeting me there, but I want it to meet me over here. So you just continue to tweak slightly, 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 little bit by little bit by little bit until those small little tweaks, you look back in a month and you're like, holy shit, so much has changed. You look back in a year, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm not even the same person. Like I will say, even in the last year of who I am now to who I was last January, it didn't feel like a lot of things had changed from then to now. But looking back to who I was last January and what I was experiencing last January, I'm in a completely different world. I'm living a completely different reality. Like everything is so different. But I don't think about that until I actually take time to reflect back. And it's just because of little things that I've done over time. And I haven't even been super consistent in the last year. But with consistency, things can change and things can change so freaking fast. So I just really want to like drive that point home that things can change so fast. And you never know when it's going to change. So just keep coming back to the present moment. Keep like, if your subconscious wants to be in that familiar past or have those familiar feelings, you have to be greater than your body. You have to be greater than the thoughts that you are used to thinking. And that's why we repeat these new thoughts. We repeat these new beliefs. We repeat feeling some type of way. You look for the proof of it already happening, of it happening now, of how it's already happened for you, right? Because we're going to tip the scale in our favor. So that is all for this video. And I hope that it brought you some aha moments. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.